pop my neck, because I'm ready. So, when the last video left off, it was talking about the goldfish, and how intricate it was, and how she was using it and the stuff before it to, well, the way she starts the chapter is by getting you used to her being thorough and detailed. Everything she does. Everything she writes about. Including the journey the light took to get to her window, the fish scale, the fish itself, the capillaries in the fish's tail that she saw once. It was the same kind of fish. And she was telling us that it was incredible and they never wavered, and it was like a little highway, as we all thought, of course. And so on. She's really thorough in every time she's talking about. And then she picks apart the Alodia, the plant that came with the fish, how she was looking at it under a very expensive microscope, she tells us. And she saw a clean mosaic of almost colorless cells. The cells were large, 8 or 9 of them, magnified 450 times, packed the circle, so that I could easily see what I had come to see, the stream of chloroplasts. And she tells us how chloroplasts bear chlorophyll, and how they are green, and then she tells us about how those are in cytoplasm, which is like the ether, and they fold and trooped, and it's all very just logical, factoid facts right there. But before that, no, she uses this imagery to describe the way she's, quote, that if I concentrate enough, I might be able to feel in my fingers' capillaries the small knockings and flow of those circular dots, like a string of beads drawn through my hand, which I think is excellent imagery, just because it's simple yet really effective. I'm just super impressed by that specifically. And then she goes on to tell us how the plankton is blooming in the goldfish bowl because it's in the sunlight, and how she has to clean it, and then she gets to the plant, and then she cleans the plant and then talks about the plant, and it's great. And then the chlorophyll, yeah. And how cytoplasm green, everything's green. And then she, after telling us about chlorophylls and cytoplasm, she tells us that, quote, at the ring center is a single atom of magnesium. Now, if you remove the atom of magnesium and in its exact place put an atom of iron, you get a molecule of hemoglobin. The iron atom combines with all the other atoms to make red blood, the streaming red dots in the goldfish's tail. So she calls back just a few paragraphs ago, and she ties it all up, and then there's a big break. And then she talks about the small world in the goldfish bowl. And she tells us that, say the nucleus of any atom in the bowl were the size of a cherry pit. Its nearest electron would revolve around it 175 yards away. And then she talks about the fish and what he has, like whirling air in his swim bladder that balances his weight in the water, his scales, his feathery gills that are so intricate and detailed. But from here she goes from fish to the daphnias he eats. And the daphnias have eyes and jointed legs, and the algae the daphnias eat have green cells, stacked like lawn columns, and so on diminishingly down. We have not yet found the dot so small it is uncreated, and we never shall. Aside from being weird to think about. So that's kind of her point, is I think of the whole chapter, is to tell us how, wow, everything is so complicated. And that complicated fish she bought was 25 cents. A commentary on how intricacy is normal. It's pretty hardy. Like, you think intricate, you're like frail, delicate? But everything is so delicate and detailed, but it's not delicate at all. And it's the small world in the goldfish bowl, and it's also, her discussing his intricacy is, reminding us about how, it's like another universe that we're a part of, but separate from, and it's within ours, and it's crazy. And I think she has one point, sort of, and then I'm pretty sure she wants just to prompt all of the thoughts we could ever think about this, so. And then she tells us we can't find something so small as to uncreate itself. Then she quotes Thoreau. He says, nature, said Thoreau in his journal, is mythical and mystical always, and spends her whole genius on the least work. The creator, I would add, turns out the intricate texture of least works, that is the world with a spendthrift genius and an extravagance of care. This is the point. And then there's a break in the chapter, so I'm gonna edit it now.